Hi friends, welcome back to Odash. I'm Aurangzeb and today I will show you how you can select and remove the background of any kind of image. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, I have this image open in Adobe Photoshop. The name of the model and link to her Insta is also in the description of this video. So I will combine two tools here, or two commands. First is the pen tool and the second is obviously select and mask, which will give you a very powerful way of removing the background. First we will select the pen tool by pressing the P key or going to the toolbar on the left and select pen tool. Then pressing and holding down the control key and pressing and holding down the space key, I will drag with my mouse left button to zoom into this area and press Ctrl minus to zoom out a little bit. Hold down the space bar and drag with my mouse to pan around the image. Okay, to select some object with the pen tool, all you have to do is select the pen tool and in the options bar make sure it says path, not shape. Then start your first point by left clicking somewhere on your image. Then create another point with left mouse button click, then again and again. So keep doing this. Don't go too far with the first point and the second point. Just keep the points as close as possible and also make sure you don't go outside of your subject but stay inside of your subject. This is for beginners, and when you become a little advanced user of the pen tool, I will recommend that you start the curves like this one by holding down the Alt key and dragging on the last point you created like this and let go of the Alt key. Now if you look closely, this is creating a curved path. So because there is a oncoming curve, I have to hold down the Alt key and drag this point, which will convert the next point into curve. So you keep doing these things when you are selecting a curved object. Hold down the Alt key, drag down and keep doing this like this. And wherever you make a mistake like this, zoom in more. When your mouse pointer change into a plus sign with the pen tool, click there and hold down the control key and adjust that point as well. Then continue on further, start making selections. I think I have zoomed in so much, so I will press Ctrl minus to zoom out a little bit. Pan the image with the space bar held down and keep creating the path. Okay, now it's time for the hair. So I won't select the hair with the pen tool, so I will just click here, 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 like this. Like this. Don't cut all of her hair, just some of the very bad flyaway hairs, and like this. Remember, the pen tool always works best for straight objects or curved objects if they even don't have a lot of contrast. The pen tool is your best bet. Okay, we are back on her body. So I will create curves also here because there are some round selections here. Hold down the Alt, drag, and then let go of the Alt key. This time I'm not using Alt key because there isn't any more round objects to be selected, but I would recommend using the Alt key as much as you can, so you will get used to it. Create a plus point here and adjust the path accordingly. Now create a big curve here like this. Hold down the Alt key because of this curve selection here. Like this, like this. Okay, our selection is almost done with our subject. So let's see how did it go. Close the selection by moving on the first point you created with the pen tool, and a circle will appear around the pen tool which will show you that the selection is closing here. So click that and you have closed your path selection. Press Ctrl 0 to zoom out to fit, and now it's time to convert this newly created path into selection. So I will press Ctrl Enter to convert this into selection. Next, go to the layers panel and click this button, add a layer mask which will remove the background. Now it's time to create a new background to see how good we did or how bad we did with the removing the background. So I will create a new layer in the layers panel, move this layer below our subject and fill it with a dark gray color. Gray colors are best to see how well the selection is or how you did the work. So I will press Alt backspace, make sure the newly created layer is selected. So we will better name this layer by double clicking its name and name it BG for background. Then I will press Alt backspace to fill this layer with the dark gray background. And if you see, the selection is pretty good and just the hair needs to be fixed. This area is done and a little hole here remains. So I will select the top layer once again, zoom in and start creating a new path to remove this background from this little area as well. Press Ctrl Enter once again. Now make sure the mask on the top layer is selected and then press Alt backspace with the foreground color black. Remember, black removes and white shows. Alt backspace to fill this with black. This area is clear too. Press Ctrl 0 to zoom out and look for some other minor areas where you might think the background is still there. I'm not worried about the hair. So now we will fix the hair. Make sure the mask on the top layer is selected and select the quick selection tool from the toolbars and go to select and mask. Now we are in select and mask. We should select the second tool from here. The name of this one is refine edge brush tool. Increase the brush size and start painting on her hair like this, like this, and this will leave you with some extra pixels, but we are coming back to these in just few minutes. So with the refine edge tool, remove the background from her hair. Okay, this is almost perfect, but the problem here is the white fringing appearing within her hair. So we will fix this in next step. I will click OK here to remove the background from her hair, and then create a new adjustment layer in the layers panel of hue saturation. Just decrease the lightness and clip this to the layer below by clicking this button, and this will remove the fringing. But the problem is this has also darkened the image. So to fix this, I will select the adjustment layer mask, and with the black as my background color, I will press Alt backspace to fill this with black color, which will actually hide all of the adjustments. Or you can select this layer mask and press Ctrl I to invert the mask. This has totally removed the adjustment layer. Now I will press the B for the brush tool and adjust its size with the brackets, and by right clicking you can also adjust the hardness or softness of the brush. So I will keep the hardness at almost 9% and start painting with the foreground color as white. Start painting on the areas where you think the white is too much, on the edges like this, and where you think the white is too much, just paint those areas. So if I press F12 to revert the image, or if I go to the file menu and click revert, here was the before, and if I press Ctrl Z, here's the after version. So hope you liked today's tutorial. If you did, make sure you subscribe to Orash.